start for Jake Hughes, not bad also from Stoffel Van off the front row. 2 by 2 they go. It's going to get very tight there.
You might think this is Formula 1, the well-known, exciting car racing sport that has been with us for almost 80 years. But this is actually Formula 1's younger brother, Formula E. They look quite similar, right? But if I turn up the sound from the racing lanes, you might get a big clue about their differences. Yes, Formula E is a car racing series that is fully electric, and that explains why you wouldn't hear any loud combustion engine noises from those vehicles. The race has kept some basic common rules of Formula 1, but that is where their differences end. Formula E has a lot of excitement and significance to offer. In this episode of Its Focus, I'll bring you go behind the scenes of Formula E and break down why I believe this entertaining sport matters to all of us. The Formula E was born in the exact moment the world's mobility industry has just started its massive transition toward electrification. Back in 2014, the first edition of the Racing Championship inaugurated in Beijing.
We go green in Beijing!
Yes, you heard it right. The motorsport created in Europe made its very first debut in the capital of China, as the country was moving fast on electric transition and later became the world's largest electric vehicle market. And then in the next 10 seasons, the motorsport took place on temporary street circuits around the world, highlighting the urban mobility potential of electric vehicles. Today, I got the chance to see quite an uncommon scenario where the race is taking place on the exact same track used for Formula 1 races. I'm on my way to the racetrack in Shanghai and work at getting into some of the garages and talk to the team leaders, and of course, watch a race. Like Formula 1, each Formula E team has 2 drivers and they race to get points. However, all the teams must have the same car frames, battery, and most of the car parts. So what are they competing on?
So we compete on how efficient is the powertrain and how the control systems, including specifically the energy management, make the vehicle efficient during the race.
According to regulations, drivers must complete the race using a certain amount of power, whereby you couldn't possibly finish the race if you always sped up. So, there are a lot of variables to manage during the race, including the deployment of energy and regenerative braking.
It's funny, people think that drivers only drive, but in reality they think a lot. And the steering wheel has a lot of commands and information on the dash that help them to optimize the energy management during the race, communicating with the engineers in the garage.
That's why you see umbrellas covering the driver's seats during the pre-race grid walk, because no one wants to expose their team's secret strategies to their opponents. And another exciting feature of Formula E is attack mode.
As Van Dorn goes into attack mode at the beginning of lap 4.
When drivers go through these stones on the track that normally lie on the outer ring of the curve, they can activate an extra boost of power. Just like in the car racing video games, you drive over this thing, you get a temporary increase in energy. So it's not just a race of speed, it's more like a competition about how you intelligently manage your energy. The diverse and complex structure of the game has made it extremely fun to watch. You will see way more overtakes here than any other motorsports. But how can this entertaining sport have an influence on both you and I?
So between now and 2035, the reality is most of the cars that people will buy and drive on the road are going to be all electric. So therefore it stands to say that Formula E probably becomes the most relevant form of motor racing in the world to consumers who want to have relevance to the cars they drive, to the cars they watch racing.
Today, every car manufacturer in the world is investing heavily on the research and development of electric vehicle technology, and Formula E cars are seen to be at the pinnacle of those technologies.
We have a power limit in Formula E. For this race today, we have 38 kilowatt hours of usable energy. So therefore, we have to make our car more efficient. Now, efficiency in a road car is range. So that's the benefit. That's why there's a real benefit and link between what we're doing.
The materials, design, and software tested successfully in the series will eventually enable our consumer EVs go more miles. And our road experience may also provide some references to the racing game. In short, it can be concluded this way.
Track technology to road technology in the track technology.
For car makers, Formula E is not just a testing ground for latest technologies in electric mobility.
Formula E was more demonstrate to the Nissan how to switch to the electrification vehicle. That's what is our investor join to the Formula E. This is the main purpose.
For other players in the industry, The series also serves as a platform to obtain the knowledge they need.
The chargers are being used on a completely different way. They try a few times during 5 minutes. We don't see that really in the road cars. So it's just a different use case to give more insight. If we can have as much use cases as possible, it only will improve our chargers.
Formula E has witnessed the development of EVs, or I should say it's part of the process. Back in the first couple of years, drivers even had to switch cars during the race as the distance per battery charge was quite low at the time. But now, they're planning 600 kW mid-race charging, in which cars can get certain amount of power in just 30 seconds.
The race for the energy transition, how accurate the statement is.
At this point, I started to get why everyone I met at Formula E was so motivated and dedicated. Because they are racing for the future.